I'm Brian Staveley, and today we're going to talk about the real costs of buying a home here in beautiful North Carolina. Because buying a home in North Carolina can get unexpectedly expensive if you're not prepared for what's coming along the way. The rules here are different, and most people are not going to explain all of that to you until you're actually under contract. The online calculators and sites that people use, they're not going to show so many of the things we're going to discuss in the videos today. Things that you absolutely need to take into consideration, like due diligence fees, which we'll explain, North Carolina specific contract rules, lake related risks and costs. Because here where I live in Lake Norman and in Charlotte Metro, the lake adds another layer of complexity with waterfront rules, dock permits, HOA restrictions, different maintenance if you live along the water. So my goal here today is so you have no surprises along the way, no panic decisions, and no learning lessons after the money is already on the line. Okay? So my job as a buyer's agent isn't just opening doors. It's making sure you understand how North Carolina actually works before you write an offer. Okay, so the first major topic I want to tackle today is the due diligence fee. So what is due diligence in North Carolina? Due diligence is the fee that is paid directly to the seller that grants the buyer access to the home, time to do walkthroughs, time to do the home inspection, septic inspection, anything else like that. So this money is almost always non-refundable except in some rare instances. Okay, so this will not be credited at closing towards the purchase of the home. Now, this amount, it varies. It's always negotiable, of course, and it just depends on how you strategize your offer and where you want to go with it. A lot of higher ticket homes or homes with waterfront access, they might require a higher due diligence fee. Okay, now this is to not be confused with earnest money, which we'll get to next. But just a few more things on due diligence. It also is negotiable the length of time that you need to go ahead and do all of these things. Now, the way it ties into earnest money, but it's quite different. Earnest money is like the good faith deposit you're going to make on the home. So, for instance, let's say you put $20,000 in earnest money. That $20,000, if you go ahead and purchase the home, that's going to go towards the cost of the home. Okay. When is earnest money refundable? Because earnest money is refundable, unlike due diligence. Earnest money is only refundable during the due diligence period. So if you have a window of, say, 2 weeks of due diligence to do your inspections and whatnot, if you don't like what you see, you can back out. You'll lose the due diligence fee, but you would get your earnest money back. Whereas if you wait for that window to close, then you back out of the deal, that earnest money is going to go bye-bye. So that's the big difference, okay? Both of these things are used in strategizing to show how strong your offer is, how serious you are, and of course, it can vary on a case-by-case basis. And that is where your local expert is going to come in and help you. So let's go ahead and talk about inspections for a minute, the things you will have done during the due diligence period, okay? Of course, the standard home inspection, please do not ever waive that, okay? Now, a lot of these other ones are going to be specific on the property, of course. Termite, radon, dock inspections, shoreline evaluations, septic inspections, okay? All of these matter, and if the property falls into that, obviously if you're on the water and you have a dock, you'll need a dock inspection. If you're not, then you don't need one, right? Older homes that aren't on city water and stuff, they'll have a septic tank. You want to get those inspected, okay? We'll make sure they're at least up to date on their current inspections. Things like this are very, very, very important, and you do not want to bypass them in the biggest decision of your life, financially possibly, right? Closing costs. A lot more goes into it than you may think. So some of the things that are included: lender fees, attorney and title fees, recording and escrow items, depending on where you're purchasing the property. Like I said, I live here in Cornelius, beautiful Lake Norman. This image behind me is actually down the road in Davidson, another beautiful community here on the lake. But when you living on the water, of course, you could have higher insurance. You could have flood considerations, different HOAs, transfer fees in certain communities. Also, coming back to you, there could be seller concessions, things that they're willing to come down on if you go ahead and purchase the home. It all depends on the shifting market, okay? So again, that's why strategy is so important on all of these things, okay? So I help buyers plan for the true cash to close numbers early, including all these specific costs so there's no last minute surprises when we get to the closing table. Who wants a surprise at the closing table? Now, this video is all about buying a home in North Carolina. I work all of Charlotte Metro and all around Lake Norman. And one thing about buying near the lake, it isn't just about buying a house. You're buying water rights, HOA rules, dock permits, shoreline regulations, long-term maintenance responsibilities. So my job isn't just to help you find a house. It's making sure you understand what you're actually buying before your money's exposed. I slow buyers down around some of these waterfront classifications, if a dock is permitted or not, HOA restrictions. This stuff is all so important and can be easily overlooked by people that aren't prepared and aren't in constant communication with their local market expert. I hope you found today's video helpful and informational. I want you to go through the home buying process with as few surprises as possible, okay? So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, upsize, downsize, whatever it is, I'm here to help with all your real estate needs anywhere around Lake Norman or Charlotte Metro. I'm Brian Staveley. You can reach me at 805-551-4431 or email me, brianstaveleylkn@gmail.com. And please, even if you're not ready to start browsing yet, just follow along with the content and you will find other informational pieces like this that will help guide you along the way. I'm glad I could help, and I hope to talk to you soon.